Last week Anthropic released their newest AI model Fable 5 and it changed the way that I build these more complex vibe coding projects. So in today's video I want to walk you through my experience and show you my full workflow for building an app like this. And that way you can build similar professional apps yourself, and I'll share another very interesting find that changed the way that I vibe code my apps. What I made is a fairly comprehensive web application that lets you upload images and animate them in unique ways. And this was actually a tool I needed myself to showcase images and design work on social media. And with it you can create 3D animations, flipping animations, floating animations, spiral animations and a lot more. And they're all fully adjustable through a beautiful interface which comes with working gradient swatches, foldable menus, panning windows, curve editors and a light and dark mode. And the most impressive part for me, I built the app with one single prompt. And make sure to stick around till the end because I prepared a small free gift for you as a thank you for watching. The last few days I kept seeing videos online about people building these $10,000 websites with Fable 5. But honestly that was also the case when Opus 4.8 and 4.7 released, and the same with the models before that. So I went looking for a project that would actually push Fable 5, and that's when I found a tool called Toolcraft made by Alex Bereshkov from Pixelpoint. Toolcraft is a free starter kit and UI library that gives you a full framework for building creative apps with AI. And this was exactly what I was looking for, and making an app with Toolcraft was a great way to test Fable 5, and it's also just a genuinely useful tool that I'll keep using. To use it, you run one command in your terminal which creates a folder with all the files and instructions your AI model needs to build an app. Then you open that folder in your AI agent and give it a text prompt describing the app that you want. Whatever prompt you give it, it builds the app based on a set of rules, and that comes with both pros and cons. The upside is that your app will automatically look good and work properly, and the reason for that is that Toolcraft combines the best of different libraries like Tailwind for the styling and Base UI for how things behave. So things like sliders, drop-down menus and color pickers always look right and work properly. And I vibe coded a few apps before which you can use for free on my own website AI Playfield, and I know how easily things can break. Sliders don't look the same across browsers, and a color picker that works on one canvas suddenly breaks something on the next, and Toolcraft takes care of all of that. And the downside is the restrictions. You can practically only build these creative web apps and all within the same templated design. So if you don't like the styling or if you don't like how something works, then you have to redo it from scratch. And there's one more thing to know. The files include a markdown file with very strict instructions for the AI agent. And it is there to double check every working feature, which is great for reliability, but it also burns a lot of tokens and takes a very long time, even for the smallest feature. And I'll come back to that in the next chapter because it really shaped my whole build. With Toolcraft set up in Claude, I selected Fable 5 as the model and I gave it my prompt. And this prompt was different from what I usually do. My normal workflow is to vibe code one section at a time, and I do this because the models tend to skip things when instructions get too long. Building section by section also keeps things from breaking, so I build one part, I adjust it until it's perfect, and only then I move on to the next. And the trade-off is that you have to get the tech stack right early, so you have to plan carefully and open with a strong prompt to make sure it uses the correct stack. And Fable 5 changes that. It's marketed as a model that you can hand a prompt you would normally break up, one that can run multi-hour and even multi-day sessions without losing the thread. So I created a hybrid prompt that sits in between to get the best of both worlds. I wrote one long prompt that starts with the instruction to build in phases, and this way I can stay in control and I can check in between sections if something breaks. And if something does break, I can act on it right away instead of waiting the entire build to finish. Scrolling through the prompt, you can see I divided it into separate phases. Phase 1 builds a single scene, the next phase builds the image upload feature, and after that all the 2D scenes, the easing options and the timeline, and each phase covers a different feature or a part of the app. And I don't mention any design tokens because Toolcraft handles all of that. I don't write a long prompt like this by hand. I use a voice transcriber called Paraspeech, and I just talk through what I have in mind. I ask the AI model to ask me questions about the app and to make suggestions for new features. And at the end of the conversation, I have it write the full prompt for me as a markdown file based on everything that we discussed. And then I gave the prompt to Claude Code and it ran for hours. I think that the full build took somewhere between 9 or 10 hours, and that's just how Fable works. And that it takes so long results in very impressive builds with almost no flaws. It's trained to keep going until the goal is reached, and it checks itself constantly. Another reason it took so long was because of the Toolcraft instructions that I mentioned earlier. For every phase it had to run 4 different types of checks, and many of them failed, which resulted in doing the checks all over again from the start. It checks itself so much that I decided to interrupt the build and told it to combine certain phases without checking each one on its own, just to speed things up, and that worked. It still took a long time, but it worked. And I was very happy with the result, but when I build my next app with Toolcraft, I'll merge some of the phases from the start, or I'll tell it to only run checks after specific phases, just to save time and tokens. And speaking of tokens, I'm on the $20 Pro plan, so I hit both my hourly and daily limits during this. And according to Anthropic's newsletter, Fable 5 will only run on usage credits by July the 13th, so using this model may quickly become very expensive, and that's something to keep in mind. So I'll be using Fable mostly to solve more complex problems that Opus can't handle, or when I have a project where I want the AI model just to run from start to finish without me interrupting. For all the other coding tasks, I'll fall back to Opus and Sonnet for now. And that brings me back to what I said at the start. Fable 5 is not the be-all and end-all. Yes, it is very impressive that it built this entire working app from one single prompt, but for this particular part it was unnecessarily long and expensive. So in all honesty, I could have made the same app with Opus and saved a lot of time. It wouldn't have done it all at once. I would have to iterate and build it brick by brick instead of leaving it running for hours, but that would have been fine to me. So the way that I see it, it's not about picking the single best AI tool or always chasing the newest model. It's about understanding what each model is built for and what it can and cannot do, and knowing which one to reach for depending on the task. And that's true for Fable 5 as well. It's just another powerful tool in your toolkit next to Opus and Sonnet. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more designs that I built with AI, then please subscribe to my channel. And as a thank you for watching, I've added the full prompt I used to build this app, plus a complete guide on setting up your project with Toolcraft as a free download in the description, so you can build your own web apps. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.